if you are waiting for prices to come down in San Diego County, one of the surest ways for us to get there is for a lot of people to leave. So is that happening? Are people leaving California? Are people leaving San Diego in general? My name is Dan Parker with Best Life Home Team, your San Diego real estate resource. And this is my Answer Your Question series. I take your comments, I take your questions, and I spend a good 8 to 10 minutes just answering that for you or responding to it. And today, our comment is from Nick Vin saying people are fleeing California like no other. So he's talking about in reference to San Diego and how whether or not it's a good place to live or a good investment for you. Our price is going to come down because people are fleeing San Diego. Let's dive into this so you can see exactly what we're talking about. So here is an article. California is moving out of state at greater levels than ever before, study shows. And while California is still the most populous state with over 39 million residents, this is pretty wild. With 12% of the population of the U.S. is here in California. I didn't realize that it was that big. But this exodus now includes college graduates and residents at all income levels. So I thought that part was pretty interesting. You have all age levels. You have all income levels. It's not just people leaving the state for to be able to afford a house, to be able to have a lower cost of living. It's people of, at least from this article, it's residents of all income levels. But let's look at what effect this has on San Diego in general. So we've actually seen some articles recently. There was some census data showing that the population went down in San Diego County this year. And a lot of the articles we're seeing are like this. Tens of thousands of residents moved out of San Diego County last year, almost doubled the number a year earlier. Let's dig into this a little bit earlier. Some of these are a little bit misleading. So new Census Bureau data reveals a combination of births and immigrants moving to the county weren't enough to make up for the unexpectedly high exodus of residents who left the county between 2022 and 2023. So you'll see this number a lot. You'll see that 30,000 people left San Diego County, but it's a little more nuanced than that. This is definitely a headline grabber that they're trying to utilize. So 31,000 more people moved out of the county than moved in between July of 2022 and July of 2023. So this is the fairly recent data that came out. The net effect, though, was a slight dip in San Diego County's overall population, down nearly 7,100. So how do we go from 7,100 to, 31,000? Let me tell you. So the county's natural growth, which is the number of births outpacing deaths, approached 13,000 between 2022 and 2023. And in a departure from years past, international migration jumped to nearly 10,000. So we're looking at births, and then we're also looking at migrants coming in. Then you're left with 7,000 people that left. 7,000. So just to put this in perspective, we have 3.3 million people that live in San Diego County. 33,000, if our population went down by 33,000, that'd be roughly 1% of the population left. When you go down to 7,000, was that around 0.3%, a third of a percent, somewhere in there? So that's interesting because it's increasing over time. And if we see that continue to increase, that's going to be a problem, but it's not as staggering as they're saying. And this is, I thought, pretty interesting. So if you look over the last over the last 13 years, I can't count here for a second, here in San Diego County, net moves out of San Diego. Now, remember, this is just moves. This is not talking about births, or this is not talking about people coming in from other countries. For a couple of years, it was pretty flat, like in the hundreds. It's pretty wild how flat that, at least this is showing here. Maybe they weren't doing a very good job of collecting that data back then. I'm not sure. Starting 2015, we started to see more and more people leaving San Diego County. I have to believe a lot of that has to do with the cost of living here, which has risen a lot since 2015. But and that's mostly what we're going to be talking about in this video. Of course, people leave for other reasons, but affordability is going to be one of the big ones. This article also shows, now here's a bigger perspective. Let's take a look at all of California, not just San Diego County, because when you're seeing these articles about a mass exodus from California, San Diego is a little bit different. It is a little bit isolated. When we look at all of California, there are places like Riverside and Fresno and San Francisco. This is actually surprising. That's all a net increase of population. And then you have places like LA, which is just absolutely bleeding people. It's 56,000 people. That's how their population went down by 56,420. In Orange County, went down by 14,000. So it's pretty interesting. When you look at the entire state, San Diego's fairly in the middle there this last year. But again, if this continues to rise, this is going to be an issue. And we know why, right? Like we know that San Diego is becoming more and more of an expensive place. This is single family homes on Redfin. What I think is interesting is if you go to single family homes, you go to price, you can see what's kind of the median, like where we're spiking here. The most homes we're seeing between $1 million and 1.2. Well, actually 1.2 to 1.5 is really where we're seeing the median single family homes in San Diego County, which is crazy, especially when you're coming from other places around the country. This is one of the most expensive places, and we've seen the most appreciation in the entire country in January and February this year. San Diego gas prices, I mean, it's not just housing. San Diego gas prices, I don't know how well you can see this map, but we're hovering in the top 4 to low 5s right now. It's not cheap to fill up your gas tank. This is where I went to eat the other night. This is one of my favorite places. I usually have nothing but good things to say about Puesto, but my goodness, a $9 taco, a $16 taco, an $11 taco. Those are individual tacos. That adds up. That's a lot. And then you have something like this. So the San Diego first-time home buyer affordability index, it just continues to go down ever since 2009. So of course we saw the housing market crash. Things became more affordable. And then we've slowly seen the affordability go down, down, down. And especially when the rates started to go up, we've seen it go down even more. So first-time housing affordability index is only around 30% right now. So there are a lot of reasons why people are considering leaving. We are seeing people starting to leave at a higher pace. And I think we're going to continue to see that over the coming years. Now, the question is that going to affect housing prices? Does that mean housing prices are going to drop because we're going to continue to see more and more people leave? And I don't know that that's the case, but we will see. If you look at something here, so the San Diego County demand is simply how many people are getting under contract with homes. That shows how much demand we have in the market. And if you look over time here, like from 2012, we peaked at about 5,000. Right now, we're under 2,000. So demand, the number of people that are trying to get into homes is slowly creeping down. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that there aren't very many homes available either. If you look at this chart, active listings in San Diego County since 2019, we've just slowly gone down. And you see these humps that you see on these charts, they typically have to do with seasonality. So in the winter, everything slows down a little bit. In the summer, when a lot of people are making moves because of their kids, they're trying to stay on their schedule, the school schedule, then you'll see these humps going up and down. But over time, it's very obvious that it's going down, down, down. And so even if we see a lot of people leaving San Diego, we still have this, it's an affordability crisis, but it's caused by a lack of inventory, a lack of number of homes for sale. And that's because they've slowed down the amount of construction of new homes here in San Diego County. Beyond that, we're in a place that doesn't have a lot of space for new construction. We're not like Austin, Texas, or Las Vegas, when you can just keep pushing out farther and farther and continue to build. We have limitations. We have Mexico to the south. We have Camp Pendleton and then Orange County to the north. We have the ocean on the west. And then going east is a lot of public land that will never be built on. So we have a lot of limitations here. But I think there could potentially be an opportunity for prices to come down if it weren't for things like this. Federal Reserve still foresees 3 interest rate cuts by the end of this year, despite the bump in inflation. So if we see rates come down, mortgage rates are going to start to come down, affordability starts to go up. So even if we see our population decline by another 10,000, 20,000 people, it's probably not going to have that much of an effect. If we see our population decline by 50 to 100,000 people, it could start to have an effect. But if home prices are starting to go down, then we'll probably also see fewer people leave San Diego County because now they can afford a home, which is one of the reasons why they're here. So all of this to say, are people leaving California? Yes. Now people are actually starting to leave San Diego too. Is that going to have an effect on home prices or this being a good place to live or investing in San Diego? Only time will tell. If we see more and more people leave, it could start to have an effect. And in all of this that I'm talking about, as far as home prices, it's not even including what just happened with the National Association of Realtors settlement and how that affects purchasing a home. So if you're interested in that, I just did an entire breakdown, which I'll throw a link up here for you to check out. If you ever have any questions on any of this, drop it down in the comments, because I will take your comments. I will take your questions. I'll do an entire video breakdown to let you know exactly what's going on and give you kind of behind the scenes look. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you ever have any questions, if you're ever starting to look into researching moving to San Diego or starting to research buying a home, you want to know what that looks like, you don't really know where to start, I work with a lot of people that are in that stage. You can reach out to me directly. My contact information is down below, or you can go directly to my discovery session and book some time on my calendar. I love helping people. I love helping people move here. I love helping people understand the home buying process. There's no real obligation during that period, but that's what I do. That's what my team does. We work with people and we help get them to their goals. So thanks so much for watching the video. We'll see you on the next one.